Well, we are about a year from the Business Roundtable commitment to stakeholder capitalism, taking into account not just shareholders of a company, but the broader community and broader stakeholders. That said, relatively few companies have made the legal transition to becoming B corporations, where they have a legal duty to take into account the stakeholders in the broader community. Our next guest is betting that that will change and this will become more of an investable asset class. He is Jeffrey Tannenbaum. He is founder of Titan Grove. We spoke with him about a year ago as well about this phenomenon. And Jeff, you just sold a company called Modus that is a B Corp. The private equity buyers have committed to keeping it a B Corp. But where do you think we are in terms of a tipping point, in terms of more companies signing on to this legal designation and also investors getting more interested?
Well, I think, Julie, since we spoke a year ago, we've made tremendous progress. And I think we're really at the tipping point of scaling B Corps across America. And there are a handful of data points that we can point to. I think number one is the top performing IPO this year, certainly in the first week of its performance, a company called Lemonade is a B Corp, and that would have been unheard of a year or so ago. Delaware changed the law in terms of the ability to become a B Corp is much easier now. You just need a simple majority, no longer 2/3. And Danone, one of the largest companies in the world, announced about a month ago that they're going to be moving to a B Corp designation. So effectively, you'll have the largest company, you've got the top performing IPO, and then you have a lot of very small data points that are highly impactful. One is Modus. You know, when I was on your show a year ago, I said that my modus operandi is to believe in something and then to demonstrate, you know, with a what I'll call a proof of concept. And that was the goal, was to create a very profitable, fast-growing B Corp to show people the way. And Modus has done an extraordinary job over the past 3 years as one of the fastest-growing 5G companies in the country. And the sale to a fairly typical PE firm, not an impact firm, where they committed to keep it as a B Corp through their holding period, was pretty extraordinary progress. So I think all those data points, and then if you throw in the fact that ESG has exploded in terms of interest, I think we're there.
Jeffrey, I'm curious, and again, B Corp, you know, the designation and the certification protects the board of directors from being sued as they pursue what might be considered socially responsible outcomes for their decisions. But how many of these companies are actually publicly traded at this point?
Right now, there's fewer than a dozen. The ones you'd be most familiar with would be Natura, which is one of the largest cosmetic companies in the world, an education company called Laureate, and Lemonade. A very large asset management firm is about to go public. I can't say their name just yet, but they will be a B Corp, and I think you know, they're close to a Blackstone-like entity, and I think that will send some shots over the bow and wake a lot of folks up.
Jeff, one example of a company that gave up its B Corp status is Etsy. And Etsy was just initiated into the S&P 500 index. Full disclosure, Etsy CEO Josh Silverman is a frequent guest on this program, but he had specifically said he wants to maintain the corporate structure and doesn't, you know, would be willing to let go of that B Corp status if that means he can provide more return to shareholders. And by all measures, the company has been succeeding, right? And I think for a long time, the interpretation was if they care too much about a lot of the social initiatives, perhaps they won't be able to thrive on the public market. What do you make of this sort of, is it a zero-sum game here?
I don't think it is. And I think what happened with Etsy is the reality is they were not a legal B Corp. They were certified as a B Corp. And so they would have had to go to a shareholder vote. And this is at a time when the management team was getting thrown out. So the last thing they were going to do was would effectively be to go to a shareholder vote at a time when it was required to be 2/3. So I think Etsy is a unique case. And I think what I've been working to demonstrate, as others have been, is B Corps have the ability to be more profitable, faster growing, and more resilient businesses. And the simple reason is we're in a service economy, And being in a service economy, the number one way to succeed is to attract the best people. The best people now want to work for companies that not only care about profits, but care about things beyond just profits. They care about wage disparity, race, pollution. If you take a step back, capitalism is failing, right? We have unemployment increased by 12 million people since COVID. We've got major wage disparity. We have protests and riots going on all across our country. We have storms down south that are destroying cities due to global warming, climate change. We've got fires out west, undrinkable water, dying oceans. And I think people have said it's enough already. And if there is a model, and I believe there is, where we can have very profitable businesses that are solving these problems and that can honor those various stakeholders, it's a win-win. The Etsy's of the world can be as profitable or more profitable as B Corps. And I think with Modus and other companies that I'm involved with, we're seeing it. We're growing faster than the competition. Our margins are higher, and we're keeping employees, we're retaining people longer.
I want to challenge you on capitalism is failing, because if you look across the Atlantic, the European style of capitalism with a much larger safety net, I don't think people would say it's failing. So when you look at the United States, when you say capitalism is failing, that's a broad statement. Do you mean capitalism is failing, or do you mean we need a better safety net?
Well, it's parsing words a bit. I'm not really looking for, the approaches I use to attack problems tend to be market-based. So I'm not looking for a broader safety net. What I'm promoting and what I'm proposing is that companies can do much better jobs at what they're doing. And I feel like CEOs and board members are in a straitjacket due to a Supreme Court case from 35 years ago called Revlon, where essentially said CEOs and boards can be sued successfully if they don't do one thing, just honor maximizing shareholder value. And look, I grew up very much as a capitalist. Jerry Kohlberg, the founder of the PE industry, was my mentor. When I started my hedge fund, it was the first of its kind hybrid. George Soros was my backer, right? Capitalism has really been my career. But I've also found that you can combine that with a kinder, softer path where everybody could be winners. And I saw that when I started S-Power, people said you couldn't start a solar company and make money. Well, we did. And we built the largest solar company in the US, 3,000 jobs in red and blue states and skilled jobs. So I think the answer is the corporations have a better job that they can do. Perhaps leaders can do a better job with social net, but that's not really what I'm promoting.
A market-based solution. Jeff Tannenbaum, good to see you again. Thank you so much for your time today. He's the founder of Titan Grove. Thanks.
Thank you.